Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about databases. So let's start by understanding what a database is. A database is essentially just an organized collection of information. So with databases, they really start at data, right? We have data as a core unit that goes into all these databases. And let's think of how much data we all generate every single day. Whether we check our social media right when we wake up, we do some online shopping, we log into our work computer and send a Slack message, this is all data that's being generated. And we want to make sure that we're storing this data in a way that is efficient and that we're able to make use for it. So this data often goes into tables, and these tables are in a database. And then these databases are used to extract business intelligence. We take this, we derive business intelligence from it, and ultimately what we're doing is really making decisions that go back and benefit the customer. So there are a few different reasons why someone would want to use a database. There are a lot of companies today that are still storing data in flat files. So if you think about an Excel sheet, right, that's going around an organization, that's not very efficient. So storing all your data in one area really helps with efficiency. It makes sure that people who need data are able to easily get access to that data. It also helps with making sure that you have the most updated version of your data available. So you're not working off of old information that is in some sheet that you were given access to. And we can say this also helps with consistency. And it helps with security. So again, think of a flat file that is going around your organization that different people are working off of and sending around. It's hard to keep track of that, right? So we want to make sure that all of our data is very secure. So security is key, and it's why people leverage databases rather than just using a flat file or an Excel file and sending that around. There are a few different database architectures that people leverage to really make use of their data. Firstly, we have one-tier architecture. So this is when you have a database and an application on a single server. So think of Microsoft Access. You log on to an instance of this that is running on your home computer. You ask the database a question. That is one-tier architecture. It's all running on a single server. Then we have two-tier architecture, where we have our database and some applications that run off of it. And taking this just a step further, we have three-tier architecture, where we have our database, and then a layer in between our database and our architecture called a server, and then an application, or multiple applications. So three-tier architecture is actually the most common architecture that we see today. And this is because there are a lot of added benefits that clients have when they leverage three-tier architecture as compared to other architectures. Firstly, they have the added benefit of security. You have this layer in the middle. This has business logic and business rules that need to be followed. So it really helps ensure that all the questions that are being asked of the database are vetted thoroughly first. And it also serves as sort of a firewall, right? You have this extra layer that you have to go through to get to the database. So it does really help with security in that sense. There's also increased scalability. We can scale each of these tiers out independently from each other. So we can scale out our database if we need it, our server, and our application. An additional benefit that we have with this is reliability. Think of in our one-tier architecture, if our database goes down, then it's all on one server, so it's difficult to really get any insight from this. Now, since it's all separated into three separate tiers, then one outage doesn't really impact what's going on in other tiers. So we have increased reliability in that sense, and scalability, and faster development. So you can actually develop each of these tiers separate from the other tiers, and that really speeds up the time to develop your overall database architecture. And the database world is also rapidly evolving. We see 3 different tiers here, 3 different architectures, but the database world has been rapidly evolving since databases were created. In the 1960s, actually, we had our first ever database, and this was created by IBM. It was called IMS, and it was a hierarchical database. Then we had relational databases, which IBM also really helped pioneer. They had System R, which was one of the first relational databases. SQL to help interact with the relational database, ask questions of the data, and get information back. And if you can guess who created that, that was also IBM. And now we're in a new era where we see a lot of NoSQL databases and cloud databases. So cloud databases are a little bit different than the traditional database. This is a database as a service. So when you have a database, there's a lot that goes into just managing it and keeping it up and running. You have to make sure that it is fully secure. You have to make sure that you are maintaining it, that you're doing updates on it as needed. And a lot of that back-end work takes up a lot of time. So databases as a service takes care of all of that. You have some third party that is managing your database. And with this, your DBAs can start focusing on more high-value work. And it really brings this added benefit to customers. Now they're not focusing on just keeping up the database, they're focusing on really getting intelligence from their data. So we can see that IBM has long since been a pioneer in the database world, and that hasn't changed at all since the first database was created. We have been across all the different areas in the database world. We've had products that have really catered towards different goals and different needs, and we continue to do that. So thank you for your time, and I hope you learned a little bit more about databases today.
Thank you. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below.